Welcome to Hooked on Football, your go-to podcast for everything NFL. Whether you're a lifelong fan or just getting into the game, we're here to break down the action on and off the field. Each week, we'll dive into the latest news from around the league, including game recaps, picks and predictions, fantasy advice, analysis, and insights. From injury reports to power rankings and everything in between, we'll keep you connected to all things NFL. In order to keep up with us, please like, share, subscribe, and follow, because once you're hooked on football, there's no looking back. We just wrapped up Week 7 in the NFL. Saw some good football, some good matchups.
We're at some good football.
Yes, sir. Saw some bad football and some bad injuries.
Yep.
Starting off with Brandon Ayuk suffered a season-ending knee injury in the game against the Chiefs on Sunday afternoon. Tests confirmed he tore his ACL and his MCL in his right leg.
Tough break.
Yeah, it's going to be a long road to recovery for him.
Mm-hmm.
Thankfully for him, he signed a 4-year, $120 million contract this offseason after holding out. So
that's good.
At least he's got that long-term financial
That's why they do
security. Yeah, exactly. So for anybody who criticizes players for holding out, this is why. Because if he hadn't got the new contract and be injured, he would have lost a lot of money on the market. So I guess that leads us to the question, is San Francisco cooked?
No. I guess they kind of had been bad already. I was going to say he hasn't done anything really this year, but they already hadn't been great. It'll, I guess, depend on how long this Debo thing lasts.
Yeah. Hospitalized
no
with
injury,
pneumonia.
but he's got pneumonia, which young and healthy should recover
Bounce back, yeah.
relatively quick. I don't want to say that he's for sure going to play next week, but I can't imagine it being more than another week.
Kyle Shanahan already said that Christian McCaffrey is most likely out again next week and will probably be back after the bye. So
Might as well.
Might want to hold out Debo if he's iffy at all.
Yeah. So I don't know. I haven't liked anything they've done. So
yeah, they have not looked good.
I think they're cooked regardless.
Which, real quick, while I'm thinking about it, this is exactly why the Lions need to look to make a move for a pass rusher, because you never know when your window's going to close. The 49ers look like their window might be open for a couple more years, and you just never know what's going to happen.
It looks like it's on its way.
Yeah, it's closing for sure.
Some other injury news. Tampa suffered a couple of them. Evans, just that hammy, like retweaking it. So nothing super significant. But Godwin doesn't have an ankle anymore. So
yeah, that was pretty nasty.
Yeah, did you see it?
Yeah, his foot turned.
It just was
facing up while his face was down.
Yeah, it's just That's a tough break. They feel more cooked than San Fran. Because
I don't know if you saw Mike Evans. They already said is out until after their Week 11 bye. He's out for 4 weeks. So
yeah, I am not surprised. I hadn't seen that, but Godwin's not coming back this season.
Yeah,
and
that is confirmed, right? Because I couldn't find any confirmed reports, but they said he was undergoing surgery.
Yeah,
it doesn't seem like he can come back from that.
I don't think he is going to make. Maybe if they make a big playoff push, he could, depending on how much other damage was in there. I didn't see what was damaged. I just saw dislocated ankle.
Yeah. I believe he's a free agent this offseason, so the only reason he might come back is just to show teams that he is okay. But I'd be surprised.
That's
I feel
a
like
tough
they'll be out
break
of
in a
contention.
contract here.
Yeah, I have a feeling he's young enough that he'll still get a decent contract. Someone I'm hoping is Denver. But
yeah, they don't have much else. I think Sterling Shepard
not playing anymore.
No, Sterling Shepard. I think he's next guy up.
By the way, should be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
just throwing that out there.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a tough break for Tampa when
Godwin's currently second in the NFL in receiving yards, tied for third receiving touchdowns. So him and Evans out. That's Tampa Bay was in both of our top 10, I believe.
Yeah.
Power rankings. So that won't last.
No.
But that kind of leads to the question: do you think Godwin should have been in the game? Tampa Bay was down by 10 with 40-something seconds left. Todd Bowles said after the game that they were trying to win the game and they wanted to score a touchdown and kick an onside kick. Well, the new NFL rules only allow you to attempt 2 onside kicks, in which they had already done. So
They'd already attempted 2?
Yeah. They got one. By the way, both of those onside kicks were perfect. One was recovered. The second one, they obviously knew it was coming, knew what it was going to do, but both had perfect rotation and bounced up over the line. But yeah, terrible reasoning by the coach because he can't kick another onside kick. I'm not sure why he's out there in that situation, but obviously hindsight's 2020.
Forgot? I don't know.
Yeah. But then more injury news, since we are off to such a positive start to this pod. Deshaun Watson out for the season. I guess if you want to put a spin on it, it could be positive because he's a piece of crap. But per Adam Schefter, an MRI revealed that Watson's Achilles is ruptured and his 2024 season is over. You could see he was very emotional coming off the field.
Yeah. Wonder if that was the injury or the chants.
The what?
Did you hear the chants?
Oh, I did. Yeah, I have a feeling that he's kind of learned to tune all that out now.
Maybe, but
Browns fans have kind of been on him for a little while.
That's rough in that.
Yeah.
Even though he's
right,
kind of a POS, that's rough.
Yeah. Do you think that affects the likelihood that he gets cut at some point? All of his money's guaranteed. So the cap implications make it pretty unlikely they'd cut him before June 1st, but
I think
that,
what
I think it's
will
possible.
make it more likely is if either Dorian or Jameis play well, depending on.
Yeah.
Dorian hurt his finger and left the game, and Jameis came in and played decent.
Yeah.
So,
it'll be interesting to see what they decide to do.
Yeah, good time to buy potentially exciting Browns tickets. They're very cheap, and for Miami at Cleveland, you might get Jameis and Tua. That'd be fun.
Yeah, there you go.
It was like $15 for the crappy seats, but still.
Let's go.
And then more quarterback injury news. Aiden O'Connell broke his thumb, out 4 to 6 weeks, so we're back to Minshew mania.
Yeah, the Raiders are kind of cooked regardless of who their quarterback is, but feel for O'Connell. Got another opportunity to show what he can do, and that was short-lived. Today, Alvin Kamara signed a 2-year, $24.5 million extension that puts him under contract through 2026. There were some rumors of the Broncos, Cowboys, maybe some other teams potentially being interested in making a trade for Kamara, with the Saints kind of falling off lately.
Glad he didn't go to Dallas.
That is obviously not happening now. Looks like Kamara may retire with the Saints. A few more years, I guess he could go elsewhere, but sounds like he obviously wants to be in New Orleans and they want him there. So
yeah, and then some other news. Jamison Williams looks like 2-game suspension. For
no more negative Lions
for some performance enhancing substances. Just 2 games. So, given the length, probably nothing super crazy.
It's odd. There was a few other PES policy, I think they call it now, suspensions today, which were on the official NFL wire, and Jamison Williams' suspension was not on there. So, I don't know if they're still investigating or if maybe it was a false positive, I'm hoping. But, yeah. Either way, strike 2 for Jamison Williams, second suspension, first one for gambling.
Now for PES.
Yeah.
Jamison's response kind of feels like he did it and knows it because he said he's just got to take it on the chin. Like, he wasn't like, this. I didn't do this.
Right. From things I've heard, because it was a 2-game suspension, or it might be a 2-game suspension, it wasn't actually proof that he took a PED. It was a masking agent or a diuretic in his test.
Or a stimulant, or he failed to cooperate.
Correct.
So, whatever one that is, doesn't matter. It looks like 2 games probably.
Yeah, Dan Campbell said during a radio interview this morning that the Lions are prepared to not have him, that he thinks they'll be fine. Jamison had negative 4 yards in the game that we were at on Sunday, and good. Lions were still able to pull out a big win. Obviously, he attracts a lot of attention with his game-breaking speed, so that'll hurt. But guys like Tim Patrick Allen Robinson have a chance to step up and show what they can do. Next 2 games are versus Tennessee, so they should be all right in that one, and then at Green Bay, which obviously is going to be tough either way. It doesn't help not having one of your best playmakers out there, so
right.
See how that affects that. From a current Lion to a former Lion, Matthew Stafford has apparently been in some trade conversations, if the rumors are true. Apparently the Vikings have reached out, which is an interesting situation.
Wouldn't like that.
Right? Sam Darnold playing pretty well.
Yeah.
He's kind of come back down to earth a little bit
Last
few
couple weeks haven't been great.
But they also spent a top 10 pick on J.J. McCarthy, who seems to be the quarterback of the future.
Maybe, though, seeing next door Green Bay, every time they take a guy, they get to sit behind a veteran for a few years, and seems to work out pretty good for them. So maybe they want to bring in a vet to help them this year because, like we said, Darnold's kind of seems like he's coming back to earth, and I think O'Connell probably knows football and knows that this has probably been a fluke for a few weeks. So might feel a little more comfy with a guy like Stafford going forward. So maybe. I wouldn't like that.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I think the Vikings have obviously a very good roster top to bottom. If you think that Stafford gives you a chance to win the division and compete for a Super Bowl, I guess you do it.
Right.
O'Connell and Stafford spent some time together, I believe, in L.A. before the Minnesota hired him, so they have some experience together, so obviously he knows what Stafford's all about. But yeah, that would be a interesting and a league-changing move.
Yeah, it would. Some other fun fact, unrelated to any of that, Lamar Jackson, 23-1 versus the NFC.
I heard that. That's insane.
Absolutely insane. His first 2 games against NFC teams, he was not the starter, and they lost. That was back when Flacco started. But since he took over as a starter, 23-1.
Who's the one lost? Do we know?
Oh, the Giants.
Of course. Yeah.
Obviously.
It's strange because it's not like NFC teams don't know what Lamar can do.
Right.
But yeah, that's kind of a strange stat. I wonder if there's any underlying reasoning or if it's just like kind of a fluky stat.
Yeah, it's probably just one of those things that happen to happen.
Yeah.
But weird nonetheless.
Also, his overall record against all teams is
pretty dang good.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
But still, 23-1, you said? That's crazy.
Yeah.
Tua Tagovailoa, quarterback for the Dolphins, sounds like he is set to practice tomorrow and play in Week 8 versus the Cardinals. He said in an interview that when asked if he'd wear a Guardian cap, he said no, personal choice. Also, didn't really sound like he planned on changing the way he plays. He just said, have to be careful. Kind of curious that he wouldn't give the Guardian cap a try.
Yeah, I don't.
But I've heard from a lot of former and current NFL players that don't think it really makes that big of a difference.
I guess, but and maybe the added gets him. I don't think your arm's coming up that high though. I was trying to give him the benefit of the doubt, but also like seems like he'd want to do something.
Yeah,
but
yeah, because he did what was the training that he went through that offseason learning how to fall?
Oh.
It was either this past offseason or the one before. Yeah. Obviously, that didn't make a difference because early in the season, another
Miami already have their bye?
Just
wondering when
I'm not sure if they did or not. I believe they're 2-4 currently, so yeah, they must have.
Okay. Never mind that.
Yeah,
the big thing with that is just time to let the brain fully recover. And I was gonna say if they had a bye coming up, it seems like you'd just let them. You'd want to just sit for a little bit longer. Right. Buy yourself as much time as you can before you go back out there. But I don't know. I hate seeing that, and I don't want to see it again. I think I've seen all 3 of his concussions and like live when they happen, and
they might have all been in primetime games because I think I did too.
Yeah, I know the one against Cincinnati was because I was out at a bar up in Marquette for that one. I guess I don't remember where I was for this other one, but yeah, I know I saw it, and immediately you knew it because his hands did the same thing.
Yeah.
But whatever.
They currently trail Buffalo, leads the division 5-2. Miami, like we said, sits at 2-4. We'll see though. They have explosive
2-5, so I guess there are
yeah
at risk of dropping further.
Yeah.
But
the AFC, like we've said before, doesn't have too many powerhouses, so
no.
I feel like they still have a chance to contend for the playoffs.
Yep. Anybody does in the AFC, anyways.
Yeah. Except the Raiders.
Yeah. Some other exciting returns. Ricky Pearsall made his debut this week. 3 catches for 21 yards, just 50 days after getting shot in the chest.
That's insane. Also insane that the healthiest receiver on their team is a player that just got shot.
Less than 2 months ago.
That's crazy.
And there's absolutely bonkers.
And then our last bit of news, Jets' Hassan Reddick has ended his holdout and returned to the team. Jets sit at 2-5 and in danger of kind of falling out of even playoff contention. Mm-hmm. They have a game against New England this week. Kind of a must-win. You fall to 2-6 and lose to New England.
Yeah, you lose to New England then.
Yeah, because 2-6, then you'd have to go.
And then
8-1 to win 10 games.
Bad enough to lose to New England.
Correct. Yeah, Drake May's look good, but that's not a good team.
Yeah, no, you're pretty much toast.
Yeah, they look decent for about a quarter on Sunday with Drake May, and then
I got excited.
Yeah.
Not that I'm a Pats fan. I had picked them, so.
Yeah. Now it's time to dive into the Hooked Hierarchy, the part of the pod where we unveil our top 10 NFL squads, ranking teams based on performances, stats, and maybe a little bias. Who's rising to the top and who's slipping down the ranks? Get ready for some heated debates and some surprising picks as we break down the best of the best. Would you like to start with your number 10 team?
A little bit of a shakeup this week. Not too much. My teams didn't change too much. I don't really like my 10, but I didn't know who else to put there. So I just kept the Tampa Bay Bucks up there. I think that this will be their last week in my power rankings. I just love Baker. But obviously a loss to a very good, what seems like unstoppable team right now. And then losing those guys, that's rough.
Yeah.
But they're still, overall they're still a pretty good team, so I'll keep them at 10 for one more week.
Yeah. I also had them at 10 still. Kind of the same thing you said. They did show some resiliency against the Ravens last night. Fell behind, but battled back a little bit. I have to see what their rookie wide receiver, Jalen McMillan, can do with more snaps. Sterling Shepard's there. Got a couple running back weapons.
Unfortunately, Sterling Sharp's not there.
Yeah, he could really help them right now.
Yes, he could.
I just think they're going to struggle to remain competitive.
Yeah,
and like you said, probably be the last week in our top 10.
Unfortunately, that was going to be fun to watch Baker make a playoff run this year. That would have been sweet.
You could tell he was pretty emotional when Godwin was getting carted off the field.
Yeah,
and that was after Evans had already gotten hurt.
Yeah, I think he's just like the guy that just loves his team, and then also knowing that, well, we're screwed now. Yeah,
because they were playing really well.
They were.
Moving on to number 9, I have the Seattle Seahawks coming off an impressive win over the Falcons. Not really sure what happened there. We both had Atlanta picked in that game, but Seahawks obviously talented team.
Cousins does that sometimes.
Yeah, true. DK Metcalf had a big game this week. Mm-hmm. Their group of playmakers is probably among the best in the league. Metcalf
sprained his MCL, so we'll see.
Yeah, I saw that he fell pretty hard on his knee.
Yeah. Probably it's
kind of
grade,
a beast, so
grade 1.
Probably eat some candy and get back out there.
Yeah, he'll go get some Sour Patch Kids and he'll be fine.
Yeah, but they still have Smith and Jigba and Walker. Yeah. Fant has played a little bit better, I think, this past week. Yeah. Kenneth Walker, Zach Charbonnet, they got weapons to kind of make up for Metcalf if he's out for a little bit. But
I went a different route with my 9. Just couldn't put Seattle in there for whatever reason. So I actually moved Pittsburgh up to 9. Russ looked decent enough that he didn't look like he'll lose them games, and then the rest of that team is good. That defense is great. Apparently, Pickens is Randy Moss. He bailed him out a bit, but he still had some great throws. That one to Freiermuth, and then I forget who that other one was too, but there was little glimpses of old Russ in there. Sorry, you didn't get those glimpses when he was in Denver.
Oh, correct. Mike Tomlin, obviously
Also,
very good coach.
As you said, Black Jesus.
Who?
Mike Tomlin.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I don't know how he just keeps winning games with not good teams, but he just keeps doing it.
There was rumors, talks, whatever, about the Steelers Tomlin possibly being on the hot seat with the Steelers this season. I don't understand that.
No, I don't.
He would be snatched up immediately by somebody.
And then he would go be extremely successful there.
Yeah.
Moving on to 8, I've got the Commanders. Yeah, I mean, they still look good. Daniels went down. It'll kind of depend on... It sounds like if he is out, it won't be more than a week.
Yeah. Hopefully not even that.
That feels low, saying that out loud.
Daniels and Williams against each other this week.
I want it so bad.
I really hope Daniels can play, but...
Yeah, saying Commanders at 8 out loud sounds low, but it's great teams ahead of them, so it's probably where they belong on mine. Yeah, Mariota played well, so I don't know if that's just because, like, typical old washed vet comes out to back up and then has that phenomenal game or two, or if it's Cliff's offensive scheme is just good for plug and play, and he set them up for success. But or if it was just because it was Carolina, who knows? There's a lot of things it could have been. But
wait, Carolina's not in your top 7? You don't have them coming up?
We'll see.
All right.
But
we will finally have some heated debates if you have Carolina in your top 7.
Yeah, so a few things it could have been, but either way, 40-7. That I mean, against any NFL team, that's good.
Impressive.
That's good.
Yeah. Number 8, I have the Buffalo Bills. Amari Cooper looked pretty good in his debut. Scored a touchdown. I don't know if you guys saw just prior to the snap, Keon Coleman was telling him what route to run. Apparently the defender didn't see it because he ended up getting open, getting the touchdown.
Right.
But,
no, I kind of like that. Yeah. Also, that's fun. Like the dynamic of a rookie to a vet. Especially a vet like Amari, who is
really underrated.
Yeah. That was just that was a fun thing. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, me too. Allen had a little bit of a slow start in that game, but I just saw today I believe has 12 touchdowns and 0 interceptions on the season. So taking care of the ball.
Yeah.
Playing really well. Moving on to number 7, I have the Commanders. Kind of already went over their win against Carolina. 40-7 is impressive against no matter who you're playing.
Yeah.
Dangle started off solid. First snap of the game, 46-yard run.
Yeah.
And like you said, doesn't sound like he's going to be out for too long. So
no, better not be out at all.
Yeah.
My 7, I've got Houston Texans. Still very good. Diggs just made the mistake of pissing off the Packers secondary before the game even started, and then they were held to, Stroud was held to 86 yards, so that's rough, but also
Packers defense looking good.
Stroud's not going to be held to 86 yards probably ever again. So I'm not super concerned for them, so that's why I kept them up at number 7.
Fair.
Then, of course, Mixon still had a day.
Yeah.
Couple touchdowns, 115 yards.
Yeah.
Still look good.
Yeah. Who'd you have at number 6?
Number 6, I've got Buffalo. Josh Allen, like you said, no picks. Like, we know how good he can be, and then if he has that potential, and then also is now taking care of the ball, which he notoriously did not before, and they were still very good. Yeah. They can be dangerous. Also, Amari looks like he will actually make an impact for them. So even though he's the worst receiver in the league prior to this week.
Correct. At number 6, I had the Houston Texans. Looks like Nico Collins will be back soon. They were at least competitive with one of the teams that I still have above them in my power rankings in the Packers. Mixon looks like he's back. They were a little one-dimensional when he was out, but yeah, they have a fairly solid team. Typically find a way to win games.
They were one-dimensional in the other direction.
Yeah, yeah, true. They lost against the Packers last-second kick, so I didn't feel I need to move them down too far.
No.
And then at number 5, I have the Packers. Solid win against the Texans, who I believe are a contender when they're healthy. I think Love is going to have to take a little bit better care of the ball. Tied for the NFL lead in interception with 8 with Mahomes. So apparently it's a recipe for success to throw the ball to the other team.
Keep throwing picks.
Yeah. Well, actually, there is something to that, because when all those years that Rodgers was like taking care of the ball really well, it didn't always translate to postseason success. No. So maybe there's something to being aggressive and going down the field.
Also, your team being used to having to overcome turnovers. Then when one happens, it's like, this is just regular.
Correct.
Yeah, and then my number 5, I knocked the Vikings down to 5. Felt really good. Still a great team, but it looks like Darnold might be returning to Darnold and not all-pro quarterback.
Yeah.
But that defense is still very good. Aaron Jones is still very good. Even though they're at 5, that's still a great team.
Yeah.
Number 4, I got the Packers. Love is an absolute gunslinger, and not in a bad way. Obviously, you don't want all those picks, but he's putting up numbers. He's throwing for a lot of yards, a lot of touchdowns. Tied second in the league with touchdowns, and that was with missing 2 games. And then that defense was stout on Sunday. Like I said, held C.J. Stroud, one of the best quarterbacks in the league, to 86 yards. Phenomenal. And then also maybe the biggest thing, Brendan McManus, they got a kicker now?
Yeah.
That's exciting. Because, the first 6 weeks, they don't win that game.
Yeah. You don't realize how important your kicker is until you don't have one.
And then
it looks like they found theirs.
It was funny it's still funny, but I saw they released their long snapper because he had low. Yeah. But it was a procedural thing. They needed to make room so they didn't have to put Jonathan Ford on IR. So they released him to sign Ford so they can release Ford and then sign him to their practice squad. Likely is going to be the move, but I thought that was funny. That just it looked like immediately dropped their long snapper after kind of messing up that snap that Whelan saved. But yeah, with special teams and defense playing so well, I think they're going to be great. Never before would I have thought that the Packers punter and defensive coordinator would have got the game ball, but they did last week. And
the defensive coordinator's made a big difference this year.
Yeah, he has.
Defensive scheme last year was not great.
No.
Moving on to my number 4, I had the Minnesota Vikings. Only reason I didn't move the Packers up past the Vikings, Vikings demolished the Texans at full health, and Vikings beat the Packers already, and then the Vikings lost on a walk-off field goal to one of the best teams in the league, even if I'm biased. Hawkinson also returning, so just another weapon to add to their offense. their defense, I thought, played pretty well against one of the league's top offenses this week. Had a scoop and score for a touchdown. Just kind of held them in check.
Yeah.
The Ravens I had at number 3. Lamar seems to be playing at his all-time high, even though he's won MVPs in the past. I don't think I've seen him play this well. We already talked about his record against the NFC, which is wild. But
insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I also have them at 3. They're just, Derrick Henry is somehow still so dang good. And then Lamar, better. Like you said, he's had MVP seasons before, but last year I didn't agree with it. His first one was iffy. He looks like he's on pace to actually earn a legitimate MVP. Unless Derrick Henry keeps playing like he does, because...
Unfortunately, MVP never goes to anybody besides a quarterback. But
doesn't. But, no, they look, like I said, unstoppable. The defense is so good. That offense is so good. And if Lamar's going to actually be dropping dimes, I don't know what you do to beat them.
Yeah, I did see
some
that
great throws.
Lamar moved into the top spot as far as odds to win MVP.
Good, because Mahomes shouldn't be there.
Correct. And Jared Goff also moved into the top 5 in odds, which neither of us probably believe that will remain that way.
No, he's not going to keep throwing no incompletions.
He's not going to keep starting every game 15 for 15, seems like.
No. I don't know what's going on there. How, I guess to move into my number 2, I got the Lions there. That Goff obviously has talent, but that is some incredible offensive scheming if you're scheming up some plays where any quarterback can be 15 for 15.
Right.
Was that 3-4 weeks in a row now? Where he's just not throwing incompletions. It doesn't make sense. And then pass rush was noticeably worse. We happened to be at that game. That's why I can't stop coughing from screaming. Realized that my hatred for Vikings ran way deeper than my dislike of the Lions. So, still trying to get my voice back. But, and then also they dodged a bullet to the back of Demo's knee, so...
Yeah. I was a little nervous on that one.
Yeah, I didn't like his how he was walked off, but then he came back and played.
Almost immediately, we heard that he was on the exercise bike, which usually is a good sign. Obviously, if it's a knee injury, you're not getting carted off for your... I also have the Lions at number 2, as much as I wanted to put them at number 1. Great win against a very good team, my number 4 team. Like we mentioned, Goff looks like a real MVP candidate so far this season. He actually had a 92.2 QBR on Sunday against Minnesota's Blitz. All other quarterbacks this season to this point against Minnesota Blitz have a 36 QBR. So pretty impressive. Yeah. There's one highlight in specific that I saw where I forget who the defender was, but brushed Goff's arm as he was going back.
His composure through it.
Yeah, kept his eyes downfield, ducked his shoulder, made a perfect throw.
I did see that. No, that was impressive. Stay completely composed.
Yeah, Jared Goff, passer rating of 140 on Sunday. 4 straight games with 80% completion percentage and a passer rating of over 140. Only quarterback to do that since the AFL NFL merger in 1970. So hard to argue with stats like that. And then the defense I thought looked quite a bit better. Terrion Arnold held Justin Jefferson in check.
No, he didn't hold him for the first time.
Fine.
He didn't hold.
Correct. No flags, I think, maybe for the second week in a row. So maybe he learned.
Yeah.
I don't know if they made him practice with oven mitts like we mentioned, but yeah, they definitely still need to make a move for a pass rusher, which it sounds like they are at least looking. Obviously, Brad Holmes, one of the better GMs in the league. Dan Campbell said today that Holmes has already asked him to look at some tape for some players that they are potentially targeting. So, I've kind of come around a little bit on I'm okay with them giving up major assets for a top pass rusher. Just like we mentioned before, the 49ers injuries, you never know what's going to happen. If
You're
your
right.
window's open, got to take advantage.
Yeah. They have
F them
till,
picks, as the Rams said.
They have till the 3rd? Is the trade deadline?
Yeah. I believe so.
What do you got? You got another game then? Yeah.
5th is the trade deadline.
5th, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Still don't feel like they're in bad enough shape where I would think they need to give up a bunch. I think that
To be clear, I'm only giving up multiple firsts if it's Crosby or Garrett,
Sure.
which I don't even know if they're available. Otherwise, I'm fine with kind of more fringe moves. But
yeah, I think that they still looked great this last week, and I feel like give them some time to adjust. I bet even this week they look that pass rush will look better.
Yeah, also the Vikings have very good tackles.
Yeah.
So
obviously Sam Darnold has looked good.
Right. And then moving on to the last team at the top, Chiefs. I don't know. I have a hard time not focusing on offense. I feel like that's a problem for a lot of people. Their defense is obviously outstanding.
Yeah.
Mahomes, he's gonna get better because he has not been good. So
you'd hope he'd get better because he's
we don't hope he gets better,
but being Patrick
you would
Mahomes, you would, and for how high people are still on him, with him at the tops of the MVP odds, you would hope that he's got a little bit better than what he's been doing. But
so I'm assuming that you have the Panthers at number 1.
Yes, I think that they need to bench Dalton and put Bryce back in.
Oh, real quick. Speaking of which, there was reports that Andy Dalton and his family were in a car accident today.
Oh,
that they were all fine.
Okay.
Match up against the Broncos this week, but it sounds like he should be playing. But obviously the Panthers are not actually
it's
at
already
number
that
1. I hope otherwise.
Broncos great pass rush. They're already trying to get at Dalton.
Yeah.
No, obviously Kansas City. Patrick still sucks. Gets away with everything, but somehow the defense is good enough that they can't stop freaking winning.
Yeah. By the way, that little fake step out of bounds, that they need to implement a new rule because it's already tough for the defense if you got to worry about a guy faking, sliding, or stepping out of bounds. Mm-hmm. Not really fair.
No. And it sucks because it was proven last year with the Packers, if you hit him even inbounds and he's near the sideline, you're going to get flagged. So guys don't know what to do. And I say light him up and take the flag.
Take the 15. Especially Mahomes. Somehow he never gets hit hard.
No,
I don't understand.
I don't get it.
And then the one time he could have gotten hit hard, he trucked
because he's
ripped. What's his name? Mustafa.
Yeah, because Mustafa's a little DB and Mahomes is a 6'2" fat guy. Like he ran into probably 245, 250 pounds of dude. Because I don't know if you've seen Mahomes' physique lately, but
it's great.
When he came out of college, he was 225, and he's definitely fatter. So he's at least 250, and yeah, he just gets away with everything. It's so irritating. I'm sick of him.
Yeah. In my just outside top 10, I had Bears and Eagles. Neither one really has an impressive win. Eagles beat the Packers week 1, but obviously week 1 teams.
Stuff's weird week 1.
Yeah.
Always.
Bears have their only wins are against the Titans, Rams, Panthers, and Jaguars. Pretty much the worst teams in the league. Yeah. And then Steelers, you had in your top 10. I had them close. Yeah. Probably would have moved them into the top 10 if I had heard about Mike Evans being out for 4 weeks before I wrote my rankings down. And then Falcons obviously had a bad loss this week, but I still think they're a good team.
Yeah. So it sounds like our top 14 are all the same because I had Seahawks, Eagles, Falcons, Bears all kind of like right on the
very close,
right on the cusp.
So for any fans of those teams out there who are mad at us for not having them,
they're right there.
They're
so
close.
Chill. And like we said, Tampa's probably fallen, so one of them will get a spot.
Correct. Now let's get to Pigskin Prophecies, the segment where we unveil our picks for this week's NFL clashes, break down key matchups, and analyze the stats, and make our bold predictions. Who will rise to the occasion and who will fall short? First, we'll start off with a little review of our picks from Week 7. Brett, you had not a great week this week.
Nope.
6-5-2. I
Still over 500.
Yes, 16-10-3 overall. I was 9-2-2 this week. Not quite as good as last week, but not too shabby. Overall record 22-3-4. Pretty happy with that. Of course, the losses on my resume are games that I picked in parlays, so of course they cost me those. Thanks a lot, Jets.
Yeah.
Yeah, you had New England beating Jacksonville, Green Bay covering the spread. They won, didn't cover the spread.
No.
I had Houston. They covered the spread, didn't win. So tie for both of us there. Both had Atlanta, who we already talked about, didn't show up for that game.
No.
You had the Giants. I had the Eagles. We both had the Rams. I think we both kind of thought Cooper Kupp was going to be back, so that would have helped.
Yeah.
As far as the spread goes, they won the game. Only won by, I believe, 5, 20-15. I believe was the final score.
Yeah, that sounds right.
You had San Francisco. I had Kansas City. Obviously, the injuries. San Francisco didn't help.
I just pick with my heart too much.
Yeah. Both had the Jets.
I don't know what the heck happened there.
Yeah, well, Russell Wilson versus Devontae Adams. Those are the kind of the two new players in that game as far as those teams go. Didn't really pan out the way we thought either one of them would.
Nope.
And then you had the Chargers, I had Cardinals. That was obviously a close game, came down to the end. And now let's get into the Week 8 picks. Starting off with Thursday Night Football, the 5-1 Vikings travel to Los Angeles to take on the 2-4 Rams. Minnesota favored in that one, by 3 points. Who'd you have winning that one?
Because of some statistics you shared with me, and Kupp probably coming back, take the Rams.
Okay.
Again, I think I'm picking with my heart a little bit. But that's what I want, so I'm doing it.
I do think that the Rams are going to look much improved with Kupp back in the lineup. Their offensive line is still decimated, I think. And Minnesota looked pretty good even in a loss. So I have Minnesota winning that one and covering. Although the Detroit Lions opponents are still winless in the week following their game against the Lions. So if that holds true, you will be right on that one.
And then moving to Sunday, the afternoon or the 1 or noon.
Yeah, no morning game. No morning games. To sleep in.
Yeah, I'm kind of glad. We got the 1-5 Titans coming to Detroit against your 5-1 Lions.
Tough test.
Yeah, Detroit's.
I shouldn't say that because they're not going to lose, but
Detroit's favored by 11. I took the Lions, but they're not going to cover. I think that trap game, but I don't think they're going to lose. Yeah, the big spread, and also these games always end up
closer than you
weird.
Think.
Yeah.
Detroit's highest opening line in 7 years. Like you said, 11 points, a big spread. No Jamison Williams, if the rumors of the suspension are true. But can't pick against the Lions, so I'm going with them. Their offense has continued to get better. Yeah. So I see them winning that one pretty big. Moving on to the next game, we have the 5-2 Packers at the 2-5 Jaguars. We were both a little surprised by the line on this one. Green Bay only favored by 4.5.
So I took Green Bay to cover that.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a bit odd.
Yeah,
but I'll take it. As a betting man, I'll take it. As a Packers fan, I'm like, okay, screw off. Next, we got the 3-4 Cardinals going to the 2-4 Dolphins. Miami's favored by 3. I took the Dolphins to cover unless Tua doesn't play. Then I think that Cardinals are good enough to beat Tim Boyle because Huntley was their backup.
Yeah,
he got hurt. I don't remember what, but sounds like Tim Boyle if there's no Tua.
Yeah, I also had Miami winning and covering unless, like you said, Tua doesn't play. Sounds like he should be back this week. I'm really hoping have Tyreek Hill in some fantasy leagues, so
be helpful.
I need him to score in the double digits for the first time in a while.
Yeah.
Next, we got the 4-3 Falcons traveling to Tampa Bay, taking on the 4-3 Buccaneers, who we already talked about are kind of their weapons are decimated right now, which is unfortunate. Buccaneers already lost the game to the Falcons in Thursday Night Football, so to lose 2 to the probably your toughest competitor in that division, not going to be great. Atlanta's favored by 2.5 on that one. It was actually flipped. Tampa Bay was favored by 2.5 before the injuries, but I have Atlanta winning and covering that spread.
Yeah.
They coming off a bad loss. I feel like they're going to respond.
Yeah, I don't think Cousins will have 2 bad weeks.
Yeah.
In a row, so I too have the Falcons covering. We've got the 5-2 Ravens going to the Doghouse, Cleveland, against the 1-6 Browns. They are favored by 9.5, and I think that they'll cover.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, that's not going to be tough. Although I think we forget. They may have upgraded at quarterback, so I guess we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see if it's Jameis or Dorian Thompson-Robinson. Either way, possible upgrade.
Yeah.
I like Dorian Thompson-Robinson coming out of UCLA. Didn't play super well in this game, but obviously thrown to the action. Probably didn't get much reps with the first team or anything.
Right.
But
you
do have to be ready. But
throw a couple picks.
Yeah, 2 picks before he injured his hand.
Finger.
Yeah. Was that on a hand to the helmet blow, I think?
I think so.
Yeah. Hopefully he's all right. Hopefully he plays this week. I'd like to see him play. Yeah. But I also had Baltimore covering 9.5. I think they win that one big. They're playing really well right now.
Yeah.
I still have no clue how they lost to the Raiders earlier this season. I believe Devontae played in that game, but still.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wild.
Receiver isn't typically that big of a game changer.
Right. But maybe that was the wake-up call Baltimore
could have been.
Kind of needed, because since then they've been playing very well.
They started off 0-2, didn't they? They haven't lost
since. Yeah, because they opened against the Chiefs.
Mm-hmm.
So. Yep, 5 wins in a row. I think it...
You're going to carry that on.
Yeah, I think number 6 in a row is coming this Sunday. Next we have the 4-3 Indianapolis Colts facing off against the Houston Texans, who now sit at 5-2 after their loss to Green Bay. Houston favored by 6 in that one. What do you think?
I think Houston will win, but I don't think they'll cover.
Is it Anthony Richardson?
Is he
starting as far as we know?
Coming back now?
I believe he played this past week. Yeah, I believe he's starting this week.
Being at that game, I missed a lot of the 1 o'clock action.
Yeah, typically we're tuned into all the games, but tough when you're
I was
in a raucous
trying
crowd.
to watch the Packers on my phone while watching the game we were at, and that was the maximum that I could do.
By the way, shout out to Minnesota.
Oh yeah,
Minneapolis, beautiful city.
Beautiful
Never
city.
been there.
US Bank Stadium,
beautiful.
Beautiful.
Vikings, the theme, the skull, the horns, the drum.
So cool.
Pretty sick, even if we hate them.
Yeah, the whole Viking theme is so sweet.
Yeah,
it's so sweet. And then they have fake snow coming down at the intro. The whole it was dope, but still hate them.
One negative thing: tailgating scene.
There isn't.
They have a very nice plaza with food trucks,
with
drinks,
super expensive beer,
very packed. No tailgating to speak of. Which,
no.
Whatever. You can't have everything.
We got there early, hoping to crash a tailgate and hang out with some local fans and get
Instead,
some
we got
brats.
some expensive beer.
Yeah,
and some crappy brats.
Some lady did give us a free beverage.
Yes.
thing. So we got a free beer before we went in, and then so that was one negative. No tailgating. That was a bit of a bummer.
Yes, but overall, great experience.
It was sweet.
Beautiful stadium. If you haven't been and you're an NFL fan, definitely recommend checking it out. We also got to see Soldier Field a little bit. Hopefully, we can make it there before they are moved into their new stadium.
It'd be cool to see that before they tear it down.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, the Bears are playing well, so tickets are expensive.
Yeah. Hopefully, they come back down to earth here soon.
Yeah.
Back to the Colts Texans. I did pick Houston to win and cover, coming off a big loss. I think they'll be motivated. Divisional game at home. I think they find a way to pull that out. Yeah.
Next, we've got the 2-5 New York Jets at the 1-6 Patriots. They're favored by 7, and still holding on to hope. Each week, it feels like the week that they're going to finally figure it out. So I got the Jets, and they're going to cover.
Yeah, I agree. They basically have no choice but to figure it out this week.
Yeah.
Another week with Devontae in practices. Reddick coming back.
Rodgers made it sound like they were going to ease, like they were planning to ease Devontae in. So,
which they did. They targeted him on the first play and then barely targeted him much after that.
And it was, I guess, hard to tell because we were watching on a small phone and I couldn't really pay attention because I was driving. So it's hard to tell if it was actually intentional or if Devontae was just covered.
Yeah.
But I think that they at least do a little bit better this week.
Yeah.
I just got to figure out the dumb little mistakes, like Garrett false starting twice. What the heck?
Yeah,
those sort of mistakes that they keep making every week.
And the
those
pass off his shoulder that led to an interception.
Yeah.
Rodgers said today on the Pat McAfee show that's just
part of football.
Yeah, kind of thing that just happens every once in a while. I told Wilson to keep his head up and they were going to come right back to him. So little bit of rare good leadership by Rodgers.
I was curious how he was going to handle all that stuff, and it seemed like he's still handling it well, like he usually does, at least to the media. And he seemed like he took a lot of accountability, saying that he said he has had some good leadership moments, but he needs to be that great leader for the team, and he hasn't done that yet. So I think they'll figure it out.
Yeah, I think so too. I think they win that one big. Last game of the 1:00 slate, we got the 4-2 Eagles at the 3-4 Cincinnati Bengals, who are all of a sudden playing well, which we kind of thought they would kind of rise to the top. Toward the top, I should say.
They beat Cleveland by 1 touchdown.
Yeah. I think that's 2 wins in a row, right? They were 1-4 to start.
I think so.
So 2 wins in a row. Also, I still don't think Philly's playing very well. Cincinnati is favored in that one by 2.5 points, which I have Cincinnati winning and covering that.
Yeah, this one was tough, but I went Eagles. They seem like they're on an upswing, and the Bengals, they won a couple, but not convincingly. So I'm not convinced that they're there yet, and I got the Eagles winning that one. Moving into the 4:00 games, we've got the 2-5 Saints at the 3-3 Chargers. LA is favored by 7.5. I took the Chargers, but I don't think they'll cover.
That's kind of what I was just thinking as you were reading it. I did pick the Chargers to win and cover. I don't think the Chargers' offense is great, but the Saints are terrible now.
Yeah, their defense hasn't been good either.
No, they gave up quite a few points to the Broncos, whose offense is not great.
Yeah, what are you talking about? Linux is...
Bonix has shown some promise. They have no weapons, so it's really hard to tell what he is.
Right.
But
right now he's...
But yeah, New Orleans is not a good
Passable.
football team
No.
right now. I actually might move my pick for next coach fired to Dennis Allen. But
Yeah, especially since I didn't realize the Eagles were 4-2.
Yeah.
I thought they had lost more games already.
no. Yeah, they're probably not going to move on from Sirianni.
So
they-
I think Sirianni's safe. But Doug Peterson's still not safe. Still fire his butt.
Yeah. Yep, those are definitely the two that are on my radar. Well, maybe Dan Campbell.
Yeah, he's kind of trash.
Nobody likes him.
No.
Just kidding, love you, Dan. Moving on, we got the 5-2 Bills. Did we both made our picks for the last one, correct? Okay, yeah.
Cover your order.
What?
Cover your order.
5-2 Bills going to Seattle to take on the Seahawks, who are 4-3. Buffalo favored by 3. I think they cover that one. Seahawks obviously played pretty well. If Metcalf plays, might be limited.
Yeah.
But I think another week with Amari Cooper in the fold, Buffalo offense probably gets even a little better. Yeah, I think that's going to be a good game, but I do think Bills can cover 3 points.
Yeah, I think so too. And I mean, maybe he does, but you're not in a need to win situation. You could go without Metcalf and let that sprain heal because you don't want that to get worse.
Yeah, especially it being a cross-conference game.
Yeah.
Those don't matter quite as much.
No. I mean, a loss is a loss, but
Correct.
That's likely not going to come in to a tiebreaker factor.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I got the Bills covering. I don't remember if I said that yet. Next up, we've got the 4-2 Bears at the 5-2 Commanders. Chicago is favored by 2.5.
I have a feeling they think Daniels is not playing.
That's what I wondered. If he doesn't, I guess I probably have Chicago covering as much as I hate it. But if Jaden plays, I got the Commanders winning that. I mean,
if Daniels plays and they move the line, how many points would you think that do you predict the Commanders to win by if Daniels plays?
5 at least.
Okay. Yeah, I had Washington winning by 6 if Daniels plays.
Yeah.
Chicago covering, winning and covering if he doesn't.
Yeah, I think this is the first. I don't want to say I'm trying to remember who their 2 losses were.
Commanders?
No, the Bears. They obviously haven't beaten any good teams, and this team is markedly better than all the teams that
They
Bears
won a
have.
game without Daniels, basically 40-7,
7.
whatever it was. Yeah.
So no, part of me wants to say that the Commanders win even with Mariota, but
Yeah.
I don't trust
The
them
Bears
enough.
lost to the Texans and the Colts.
Colts are good. Obviously,
week 2
Texans
and 3.
are very good.
Correct.
They kind of hung in there with the Texans, but
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, that was one of those games we talked about during the first pod, how the Texans kept barely squeaking out wins, but
yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot they were like that at the beginning.
next we have the 1-6 Panthers at the 4-3 Denver Broncos. Denver favored by 8.5 points. I got to believe that's the most that Denver's been favored by in a little while.
Will be favored by for a little while.
Yeah. Obviously, it tells you how bad the Panthers are. I do think Denver covers. I think that Courtland Sutton has a big rebound game after having 0 catches, 0 targets, 0 yards last week. That's wild, especially with the weapons that they have. I think Bo Nix continues to improve. Javonte Williams kind of looks like he might be back. I kind of hate to say that, but obviously I want him to be back. But
Right.
I just don't want to jinx it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Denver wins and covers at home.
I also got Denver winning, and I think probably covering. Carolina's not good. You see, Steph said, who was he talking to? Oh, Van Pelt. He said, like, go Panthers or Oak Carolina or something, it's Van Pelt was like, "Yeah, good luck with that."
I did not
like
see
as
that.
he was signing
I
off.
need to see that. That's funny.
Yeah, that was good.
Steph, big Panthers fan.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of hoping that after this game that Denver maybe inquires about Deontay Johnson. I think he's got some talent. I think he might be on the move before the trade deadline.
Go get some first.
They need a young weapon, so they have a lot of cap space. So, I'm hoping they make a move for a young wide receiver.
They
if
can
not
use
him,
that for sure. Up next we've got the 6-0 Chiefs with another easy game at the 2-5 Raiders. Favored by 9.5, and of course got the Chiefs winning. But hot take, don't think they cover.
Really?
Yeah, I think that Mahomes has no reason to play better in this game, so I don't think that this is going to be the game where he turns it around. I think he's going to continue to suck, and they'll obviously win because they always do. But I don't think they're going to cover.
Okay.
Gardner's going to have one of those weird resurgence games when he comes back out because, like I said, that's what always happens for whatever reason.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I hate both teams, so I don't have to pick with my heart or lack thereof. But I do believe that Kansas City wins and covers. I don't see their defense giving up many, if any, points to that Las Vegas offense. Jacoby Myers has been out last few weeks with an injury. Obviously, Devontae gone. Zamir White is terrible.
don't say that.
Minshew got benched, so obviously they don't even believe in him.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, Aiden O'Connell's not a world beater, so if you bench Minshew for him, then I don't think that speaks too highly of how they feel about him. But
Devontae's leaving. This isn't their year. They're saving Minshew, keeping him healthy for their Super Bowl push next year.
Oh, okay. News flash. So yeah, I think Kansas City wins and covers. Sunday Night Football. Preseason, this looked like it was probably going to be a big, exciting matchup.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
don't care.
Not quite so much. 3-3 Cowboys traveling to San Francisco to take on the 3-4 49ers without Ayuk, maybe without Debo. Cowboys obviously have been a mess. They had a bye last week, but coming off a butt whooping against the Lions. San Francisco is favored by 4.5 in that one. I think they...
I just did the same thing.
Yeah, I had San Francisco winning and covering. Now I'm not sure.
No, I literally just changed it.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go Dallas. I'm actually going to go Dallas wins outright.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of win or go home time for them.
Yeah.
I think CeeDee Lamb has a big game. Prescott's going to rebound.
I was about to say, I don't think that CD and Dak stay being as crummy as they have been. And without Ayuk and Debo.
Yeah. I
mean, Juwan Jennings is good, but... And, I mean, I guess he still got him and Kittle. But, no, I think the Cowboys take that one.
Yeah. I did see that Micah Parsons is planning on trying to play.
I forgot what he hurt. So,
high ankle sprain, I think.
Okay.
But, yeah, I think Dallas might pull that one out.
And then
final game
to round out the week, Monday night we've got this is an exciting one. The 2-5 New York Football Giants at the 5-2 Pittsburgh Steelers, and Pittsburgh is favored by 6.5. And I tell you what, I think that they cover that.
Yeah.
Although who knows? Maybe Danny Dimes shows up and not Danny Dud.
Yeah. I saw a wild stat that Daniel Jones obviously plays, well, technically not in New York, but has not thrown a touchdown pass at home in some 700 days or something close to that.
Ridiculous. It was last season sometime.
Was it?
Yeah.
I thought it was even more than that.
I'm pretty sure it was last season sometime, and because I saw the thing, it was like all the quarterbacks that have thrown more touchdowns in MetLife than Daniel Jones, and there was a lot of them in like the last however many weeks. I think that looked like the animation. I think that will, since the start of last season. Okay, so he hasn't thrown any since the start of last season.
Yeah.
Bo Nix, I think I saw, was on there. He's thrown more touchdowns in Danny Dimes' home stadium in the last 2 years than Daniel has.
Which obviously is only one game in that stadium since Nix is a rookie and they definitely haven't played more than once.
No, just happened to be one of his 3 games where he actually threw a touchdown.
Yeah, it is 658 days.
Good
So
grief.
more than 2 seasons.
Yeah, no, I didn't realize it was all of last season. Like, I didn't remember that it was all of last season.
Yeah. That's not great.
No.
I picked the Giants to cover, regretting it a little bit now, but I'm going to stick with it, give you a chance to catch up a game. Because I'm nice like that.
Mm-hmm. Such a sweetheart. Nah, let Russ cook. Steelers country.
Yeah, I have nothing to say about
Let's ride.
about that man. Yeah. Yeah, thanks for joining us. Hope you are enjoying the podcast. Like we've said before, if you have any suggestions for what you'd like to see, any platforms you'd like to see us on, we're working
on YouTube, we're on Spotify.
Yep.
Trying to figure out how to get it on everything else. I don't know if I'm dumb or it's sort of difficult, but I've been struggling with every site I end up using. I think you're agreeing, yes, I'm dumb.
I'd say that.
So no, we should be more places soon. But right now, catch us on Spotify and YouTube. And yeah, we'll see you next week.